All right, I am going to talk to you today about making your kids rich. I want you to make your child rich no matter what age they're at right now, but hopefully the younger the better. This is me. I like to start here, especially when I'm only talking on the microphone. I like real estate. I have a couple rental properties. I like web design. I have a web design degree, and I have been taking finance courses. I'm only 2 classes away from an MBA now in finance, so I really like valuing companies and thinking about companies, but also thinking about different things that I can do for my daughter, who is 1 years old. There she is, cutie pie. And there is a couple different savings plans that you can do for them. First one is a 529 plan, which is basically for college. If you know that you're going to send your kid to college, you can save up in this 529 plan, tax-free. All of the after-tax money that you put into it grows with interest, and you don't have to pay tax on the interest if you use the money for college education only. Books are included, things like that, educational expenses. However, if you take the money out for any other reason, there's a 10% fee, kind of like if you take your IRA money out too early, there's a 10% fee. So I don't have this plan. I actually have a different plan, which is more like a custodial account. So I opened an account for my daughter, and it is a custodial account that I can control, but it's in her name. So as I save money into it and it grows with interest, instead of writing a check to her when she turns 18 and possibly paying taxes by sending the money from me to her, this account is already in her name and she can pay tax on the gains on her own. She will have to pay tax, but there'll be no fees and you can't use it for a college plan. So either way, there's a few different plans that you can do. You can just open a regular account. Vanguard. So once you open up that plan with Vanguard, you have different options here, and basically you just get this right here, this Vanguard 500 index. It has 500 different stocks in it. It's not something that people are paid to buy a couple, sell a couple, buy a couple, sell a couple, try to buy high and or sell higher, and then buy low and sell higher. They're not doing that with an index fund. That's a mutual fund, and you pay fees for that. This is just a regular index fund. The top highest market cap companies are in this index fund. So this is a regular old perfect index fund to get for your child. And then here is what I've done. Here's her. She's going to be a millionaire, and she's probably going to do very little work to get that. And I'm going to show you that it only takes about $70 a week to make your kid a millionaire. So this is what I have right here, the US Vanguard 500 index. This is the symbol. This is the price that it's at right now. This is how many shares I have of it for her because I've put this much into it myself. These are the additions that I've made, 5,700 in this year, and that was 2018, 2019. I've put in this much so far. This is the total. Um, so this is calculating the price times how many shares I have. So the market value of the shares that I've bought of this fund is 76.29. This is calculating the total amount that I've put into the fund myself, not including dividends, because I'm not buying the dividend. I'm not putting that money in. That was a gift that I got from the companies, the 500 companies that I own. They all gave out a dividend. It gets pulled together, and I get 28.6 shares worth of that dividend. It gets added in for free. It goes up every 3 months or so. And so I've paid this much into this fund, and this is what it's worth right now, which is up $250, which is about 6%. Over here, this is 2018. I didn't get any interest because I didn't have any money in there. My daughter is about 6 months old here, or well, into 2018, she's only about 2 months old. Her birthday is in November, so I started putting money into it. We got some money from my parents and her parents, and plus we put a little bit in. So we started out the fund, and then we're putting in $70 per week all year long, which is $3,600. So the first year we put that in, this is the total that we put in, and the fund went down a little bit, and I added 10% for all of 2019. I know this isn't the exact math that you're supposed to do, but this is what we started with in the year 2019, plus 10%, plus the money that I'm adding in equals this amount. This is actually going to be 3,600, but I haven't added that in yet, so I'm hoping it will be about $10,000 by the end of 2019. This all turned negative because it's still only showing that I have this many shares. So based on the market value of this, I put 3,600 in, so that needs to go back, undo, back to where it was, and it's positive because I've only added this much. So then at the end of this year, it's going to go here and add 10% more. So you can see it's the old number plus 10%, and I get the new number. And then I add the 3,600 again in 2020 and in 2021 plus 10%, plus my money, plus 10%, plus my money. And this is just totaling here after adding in the 10%. So when she's 10 years old, it's going to be over $57,000. And I didn't even put that much money in. 100,000. When she's 20 years old, it's going to be 200,000. So this is very simple. And then, so what happens is I keep adding all of that money and I keep adding 10%. And this is when she turns 30. Now she's got this much and she's making 10%, which you move the decimal point over once, so it's $59,000. And she takes out, instead of putting in now, she's 30 years old, let's give her a $30,000 salary. So you add the 10%, which was 59,000, you only took out 30, so this total still goes up. You add your 10% interest for the year, just like the stock market usually does, and you take out, so you put in 61,000 in interest, and then you take out 30. So this continues to go up, but you can see how it kind of slowed down for a little bit. It still goes up over $1 million, and then you start taking out 50,000, and you keep taking out more and more and more. So if you take out all of these and you just delete them for a second, all of those 3,600, this column is adding up. You put $100,000 in by putting in $70 a week until she's almost 30 years old, your son or daughter, and it turned into, the 100 turned into 500, and then without putting in any more, it turned into $1 million, $2 million, $3 million. This is just 10%. This is modest. This is collecting dividends and collecting capital gains along the way. The stock market goes up over time because companies keep growing and growing and growing. The government prints more money, and that more money goes into the companies, and the companies get more money. Everything goes up and up and up, inflation. So that's just how it works. The companies continue to get more money because the government continues to print more money. So yes, everything is going to continue going up 10% every single year for many, many years, probably, plus the dividend. So if you want to change this to 5%, you can change this to 5% and go all the way down so that you're not over calculating what they might have. I mean, you shouldn't be thinking about spending this. This is for her to possibly take out. Let me undo all of this money when she is 30 years old and turning into 40 years old. I'm 36 right now, so I could be right here, and I'm actually collecting real estate income instead of Vanguard index money, dividends, or taking from a fund like this. I collect real estate income, so when I actually have a decent amount of money, I'll end up wanting to buy another piece of real estate, but that's another story. This is something simple that I can do for her instead of buying her own condo and renting it out for her or something like that. I do like real estate a lot because you can see the rental income minus all your expenses. You can see the profit that you're making per year against how much you put into the expense. But I have videos on that as well. If you look at my real estate page, I have 4 pieces of real estate. This is the one that I live in. I own these 3 and rent them out. And this is my video on how I make money in real estate. I even chose a different town, Myrtle Beach. I don't own any real estate there. I never have. And I just looked at the market at 2-bedroom flats, and I decided to look at the rental market and the sale market. So I bought a condo for about $60,000 to $65,000 and then rented it out, added up my expenses, and boom, I was making over 10%. So I'm showing you how you can do it in any area on Zillow. Once you have the money to put down, you want to make 10% on that money. Simple cash flow. But everybody should be making their kids rich. This is a given. Even if you have credit card debt, even if you have mortgage debt, school debt, it doesn't matter. You should be able to afford $70 a week. Get a second job for 3 hours and put $70 a week into an account for your kid. Make them rich, even though you're not making yourself rich in any way. Do this for your kids. This is very, very important. Give them all of this money that you're just putting, like I said, only a little bit of money in over 30 years. So good luck. I hope you do it. And I hope your kids are rich.